D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I just finished the latest episode of Star Trek Picard. And before I get started on this breakdown and review, I just want to say a couple of things. The first thing is I'm sick, okay? I've got some congestion and everything. So after I'm done editing this, I'm just going to go to bed because and then wake up and go to work. Yay! So the second thing is, my voice is a little bit deeper, like a real man, I've hit that time of my life where I go from being a real boy to being a real man. Now you're a man. Anyways, and then I wanted to say first, not first, the second, thank you for commenting. If you comment on these videos, I don't always get to every single one to like reply and everything. It's just because I set a specific time during the week. Maybe I should set aside more time, but I just I don't get to all of them. So if you comment I don't get to, I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. Yeah. And last thing I just want to say is like, so on the last breakdown and review that I did, a lot of you were telling me that the guy on the bus, the rocker, was an homage, and I found out it was the same actor from Voyage Home. And I have a friend who is like super into Star Trek, like Star Trek is his jam, and every time I mess up he yells at me. And I'll tell you the same thing I tell him. I don't remember every single thing. I'm sorry, I forgot it. Okay, calm it down. I mean, I don't think any of you were mad, but I think one person used the word disappointed, and that's a good word to use. I just don't remember every single thing. Like I mentioned in one video that with the Mirrorverse, and I only mentioned Star Trek Discovery and Enterprise, and he was all like, it originated in the original series, and you should have mentioned that. And I was like, okay, well, I forgot. Okay, calm it down. Okay, Jesus. So so I just now that I'm done with all that nonsense, I want to get started on this breakdown, but I want to say what I thought about this breakdown. And this breakdown was okay. I mean, this episode was okay. It was just kind of boring. Like it's just a lot of sitting around talking, and which is okay. But yeah, I just, I mean, Star Trek's always been about just sitting around. Well, not been about, but they've always had lots of sitting around talking, which is fine. But like this one, in just, it was a lot. Like they could have bust this down by like 15 minutes. They could have taken out like 15 minutes worth of stuff because some of the stuff was just kind of boring. Like they brought in some characters, a character that I was just like, whatever, and But anyways, okay, let me stop yapping and get to this breakdown. By the way, if this edit is all choppy, it's because I'm sick and I have to blow my nose every like 5 minutes. It's super obnoxious. Okay. So before I get started on this breakdown, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right, so now they've got all that taken care of. Let's get started on this breakdown. So it starts where we get this little warning. It's like alert, 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 and it says Vector. How it doesn't even matter. Anyways, so we get this lead that we saw at the end of the last episode with Q, and he was all like snapping and everything, and he's all like, that's interesting because his powers didn't work. And so we so she's in the shuttle, and it says something about a satellite. She's headed towards the satellite. So then we go over to here where we get the Watcher, which I think ended up being, I don't know. The Watcher's kind of big, nothing. And so and she's sitting here talking. He's like, I'm Picard and everything, and I'm coming here. And she's like, I was sent here to look after one specific person. And he mentions that Kirk ran into somebody called Gary Seven, that he was sent by a powerful being or whatever to look after one specific person. And so he's like, who are you here to protect or whatnot, or watch out? Oh, first he says, oh, you're Laris. And she's like, I'm not Laris. And I'm like, yeah, she's not Laris. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Okay, this show doesn't know how are they going to tie in Laris now? That's I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm in a grumpy mood just because I'm not feeling well. I'm tired and it's a little early. And yeah. All right. So they talk about Gary Seven and how he was sent to, but she talks about the person that she sent to protect is this woman, and she's headed towards the thing, and they're like, she's like, I'm gonna use the anti-thrusters, and he's like, the anti-thrusters aren't working or whatever. And she's like, she at age 10 she taught herself how to sail. She sounds like Mary Sue from Star Trek, but and then at age 13 she learned how to save the world or whatnot, and so NASA wanted her, kind of thing. She goes through her list of things, and it's very impressive. And so she's all like, and then they're like, boom, you're dead, kind of thing. And so she's like, and she gets frustrated because she failed her. This isn't her real mission. This is just her training or whatnot, which I totally called at the beginning. I was like, this isn't her mission and everything. So she's frustrated and everything. And she's talking about how she's going to Europa. And he talks about how Europa was this big mission back in the day in their history books or whatever. So that must be what Q is trying to Q changed. And so she says, this woman is your ancestor. It's Renee Picard. Renee. Although she's British. So back at the chateau, which of course it's Picard's ancestor or whatever, but because that makes sense, because it's all about Picard. Whew, sorry. So then the queen, she's listened to everybody's cell phone conversation or their texting or whatever she's listened to, all this cell phone stuff, and she's just taking it all in, kind of like it's the Borg, the Borg talk to each other, all their thoughts are connected and everything, and memories and everything. And then she's like, get a hold of the cell phone tower, and she uses everybody's, she's like, computer, get the cell phone tower. And it's like, your voice is a strange voice not activated. And so she changes her voice from Girardi to Picard to Carlos. And it finally works. And I'm like, why don't you start with Carlos, the original captain of the ship, lady? Come on. You got to know something about what's going on here. And so she uses the cell phone to call 911 or whatever it is in France, 711, whatever. She's like, help. She's like, a woman is being attacked at the Chateau Picard. Come quickly. And everything. And they're like, we are sending a police officer. And so she's all happy. Look at her. She's all happy, which I was like, I will get to in it. So then we go to the bus where Rios is on. And they're tracking it. And she's like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to transport him out of there. And she's like, you can't transport him out of a bus with like a half a dozen people in it and everything. Sorry, I'm getting a little warm. I'm gonna take this off. She's like, woo, take it off. Anyways, no, she's like, you can't do that. And she's like, you wanna follow time travel rules. She's like, and Seven's like, you're going fly by the seat of your pants. And she's like, well, you're being too cautious. And I'm all like, honeybee, you're acting very like irrational. I get it that you lost Eleanor, and then she mentions Gabe and everything. And she's like, don't, and everything. She's like, because she's like, I know you. And she's like, so this is what we do. She's like, you find a target and you won't stop and get her or something like that. I can't remember exactly what she says, but she's like, yeah, and you're always on the run. And she's like, yeah, because and then she sets off what I think is an electromagnetic pulse to stop the bus. And she's like, yeah, because if a target, you can't catch a target that's standing still, or a target standing still is vulnerable. And that's why she keeps moving, kind of thing. So then this guy, all the inmates start talking. He's all like, I said, shut up. And he goes in there and Rios attacks him, and him and this other dude knock him out. And they come in and they knock that dude out. And then that guy hits him, and then they all get off. And she sees Eleanor in that guy. Sorry, I didn't get a good screenshot of it. She sees Eleanor and he's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, you just go right ahead, honey. And she's like, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm a little upset or whatnot. And so these two are talking. This guy pulls out a cell phone and is texting somebody. So he's probably going to come up later. This guy's going to come up later in this season because they have spent way too much time with this non-character. And so then back at the thing, he's all like, so he changes this by making sure Renee doesn't go on the mission because she's like, yeah, she's got depression because, you know, with that kind of mind, that type of mind, she's you know, she's it's common, I think, for a lot of smart people to be a little crazy just because of reasons. I don't know what it is. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what it is, but I know that a lot of the time some really smart people can be a little crazy. I'm sorry. I'm like so out of it right now. But the doctor, the psychiatrist here, he's doing the craziest accent. Like it's so fake. Like I'm all like, how does she not know that he's not a real whatever? I don't know what kind of. He's like, you are turning the tide in your mind, and I'm like, what? And so they go and they watch, and he's all like, this is very private. You shouldn't be watching this. And I'm all like, oh, shut up, Picard. I'm like, ugh, you're so annoying. I have a feeling like somehow this whole season is going to be about depression and everything. And so they're listening, and he's like, do you think that maybe your mind is telling you are not ready for the mission? And he's like, is he trying to talk her out of not going? He's like, show me the doctor. And they I didn't get a screenshot of it. Sorry. They zoom in and it's Q. And he's like, that's Q and everything. And I'm like, yeah. So then we hop over to Leah Thompson. I love Leah Thompson. Can't get enough of her. She's great. And I love her daughter, Zoe Deutsch. She's great too. Yeah. So we get her and these two other people that don't matter talking to Dr. Song. And he's giving some speech in a hallway. Look at where they are. Look, there's a door, and then this is like a hallway. And I'm like, who has like a thing in a hallway? I was like, the budget must not be that great. They can't afford a regular room. They gotta film in a hallway. And he talks about how human beings are on the precipice of greatness or some crap like that. And he goes home to his daughter, which it is what's her name from last season, Robot Girl. I don't remember. I don't care. Which I'm like, of course they brought her back. Of course they did. And this is his real life daughter. She's a real person. She's a real girl. And he's like, the best advice I can give you is that people are idiots. So then Song is, doing his speech, and his daughter's like mocking him and everything. And he's testing her blood. And she's talking about how when she's able to finally go out into the sun, she, because she's allergic to the sun or whatever, and dust particles and everything on the planet. And so she's like, when I finally go out into the sun, I just want to sit by the pool and watch the sun glisten off the water or some crap like that. So he tests his blood. It says critical failure, 99.83% certainty that he's going to fail. And so they're upset with him because I'm trying to Diane Werner. I don't know if that's a character or not. I can't think. But she tells him, you've been experimenting on soldiers, and without permission, like you haven't gotten, approval for that kind of thing. And you've been doing human testing. And he's like, basically he's trying to figure out all this stuff to save his daughter. And that's probably why he builds, all these robots or whatnot. And so he gets this message on his computer that says, I can help. And then he gets all these documents, and it says, check your 3D printer. And he gets this little 3D printed card, and it says Q on it with a phone number. So then back at the chateau, this police officer shows up. And it says, no activity. The house looks abandoned, but I'm checking it out. And then he's like, I hate the countryside. And he starts a cigarette, but then he sees the ship. So he's like, huh, what's that? So he goes out there, he goes inside, and the Borg Queen's like, help me, hurry, they're going to come back. And he shines a light on her, and she's like, and he falls over. Of course he does. She's like, you're addicted to nicotine. I can help out with that. And then she grabs him. And originally I thought she was gonna poke him with the little nanites, and then he was gonna be like a Borg, like but nope, he's not. So then Song goes to visit with Q, and he's like, listen, every time I get a message from you people like you, it's either a crackpot or a rich lady wanting to clone her dog. He's like not interested. And he's like, he's like, this is why you're gonna sit down in the next 17 seconds, because you're a man that wants to save his daughter, and you'll do anything to do it. And he's like, listen, I can't remember exactly what he says here about all this stuff, but he gives him this little blue vial. He's like, test this out. And then back at the Watcher's apartment, they what are they talking about here? I don't remember what they talked about. That's how boring it was. It was a little boring. I don't remember what they say. But then at the show, Chateau Picard, Dr. Girardi wakes up, and she goes to the ship, and she brings the shotgun, and there's the queen. She's got this cop by the throat. She's like, put him down. And she's like, listen, she's like, I've been to every universe. I've seen you in every universe, every different version of you. And in each one, you're alone. You're always going to be alone. You need me. I can be your companion. And then she shoots her. So then Song, he tests out the little blue vial that Q gave him, and it's 100% good to go. So they go outside where he's got all these little drones, which are fun. They're blocking out the sun, which I'm all like, why doesn't she just go out into the sun with those little drones? That seems like fun. Because she can still swim with those little drones. Just put them over the pool, you know? But whatever, what do I know? And so she shoots herself up, and then he moves the drones, and she's all good to go. And she's like, how did you do this? She's like, a dude helped me out. And she's swimming, and she doesn't know how to swim. So she's like, it's just moving, it's just floating, but you're moving, and everything. And then she gets out, and she's like, Dad, the guy that helped you, who was he? And then she starts, going all Zorgified and everything, because it only worked for a hot minute, it only worked for a short period of time, which anybody could have told you it was only going to work for a hot minute. Like, Q wants something, you want something, you got to give a little something, you know what I'm saying? So then Girardi teleports everybody back to the ship, and they're like, she's covered in blood, and she's like, don't worry, it's not mine. And she shot the Borg queen in the shoulder. And this guy, she's like, I repaired most of him and everything. I can't remember what she said she didn't repair. And she's like, and then I gave him something so he'd forget everything that happened. So we need to return him to his car. And then Picard shows up with the Watcher. And she's all like, he's like, this is my crew. They are the most capable of crews. And she's like, what are they doing? He's like, I'm sure he's still alive. So then Song, he's sitting there, and he's all like, I can't remember what they say here. I'm sorry. It was not like, this is the thing. And I hate being this way, but I just didn't care. Like, I was just like, maybe it's because I'm not feeling well. And I was just like, ugh, but it did not keep me interested. Like, the whole time I was just like, oh man, I'd rather take a nap than watch this, but whatever. So then he's like, what are we going to do? Like, help me, tell me what to do so we can get to work and everything. So back at Chateau Picard, he's talking to Rafi, and Rafi's all like, she looks like Laris. He's like, I know. And she's like, isn't this weird? And he's like, yes. And she's like, good thing we got that conversation out of the way. So then they start talking about Renee Picard, and they're going to have to try to they need her to go on the mission. So they're trying to figure out what they're going to do, but they're like, she's got a party to go to. And they're like, oh, great, we'll just sneak in. She's like, not so easy. So at the party, you have to do ID, but it's like written into like your DNA kind of thing. And then once you get in there, it's got facial recognition. So they're constantly doing facial recognition. So they've decided that they're going to, and she's all like, I can get one of you in. I can't sneak all of you in because my technology will only, confuse it for a little bit. So you have to be there because you can't hack it on the outside. You have to be there. So they decide Girardi's all going to go in, and she's going to get in there, and then she's going to disrupt it so the rest of them can get in. So she gets there. There's Renee, and she's watching the shuttle lift off, and she's drinking because she's all depressed about it, and she's remembering her fiasco in the training session. And then Girardi, she's sitting there drinking and talking to herself. And then this lady's like, yeah, we got the woman in the red by the fountain. She's talking to herself and everything. She's not invited. So she's escorted out. And then they handcuff her to this chair. And she's like, why is she handcuffed? And she's like, she's an intruder. She's like, she's probably from, I don't know, someplace in California, the Palisades. She's like, we're going to get sued. And so they're like, Girardi's there, and they're like, flashes back to her shooting the Borg Queen, and she runs up and she's like, ah, it hurts. What is that? And she's like, it's me. It's the part of you don't take in a part of me without feeling something. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, you need me. You don't want to be alone, kind of thing, and everything. And so she like touches her cheek, and then when she does, she infects her with the nanites, the Borg nanites. And I was like, if Girardi becomes this stupid Borg queen, I don't know where this show is going, but I'm not feeling it, and I'm like, I knew this show was gonna bring back these cautious memories of season 1. So I'm like, whatever. And then she sees the Borg queen. She's like, you got captured. That was a good plan. We're a team. Thelma and Louise. Look how well that turned out. And they're like, Girardi. And then it ends. And that's the end of the episode. And like I said, it wasn't very like awe-inspiring, this episode. I mean, I wasn't feeling it like the whole time. Like I said, maybe it's because I'm sick, but I doubt it's because I'm sick. I just didn't feel this episode. Like, I'm just like, we're focusing on this Borg queen way too much for my taste. It's like, I'm all like, why can't you just you guys like do this mission? And I'm like, but I don't know. They're going the long way around. And I'm all like, why don't you guys just take, the shorter route and everything? I'm like, come on, guys. This is because your long route isn't even exciting. There's no scenery on the long route. It's just boring. It's just long. I don't know if that was a good comparison or whatnot. I'm really tired and sicky. All right, I'm going to end this just because I don't have anything else to say. And my mind is all bedazzled and everything by, whatever. I'm going to go take some meds and maybe take a nap and everything. All right. I will see you guys next week. Hopefully I'm more energetic and, more fun and everything. But yeah. All right. Listen, if you like this episode, tell me if you like this episode. Tell me who your favorite character is, all that good stuff. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on my Picard breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Live long and prosper. Bye.